Good afternoon and welcome to my live. My name is Michelle Dutrissa, and I'm an independent demonstrator in New South Wales, Australia. So let's get onto this fairly quickly. Now, first off, just a little bit of housekeeping. If you're new on here, please jump on. Sorry, I'm just adjusting my mat here. If you're new here, please jump on, say hello, let us know where you're from. It's always wonderful to say hello to new people. And it's always great welcoming and seeing the people that turn up each week as well to watch. So thank you for that. So let me flip my camera down. Won't be 1 second. Okay, first thing I want to show you, our mini catalogue and our Sale-A-Bration. I've received mine. So if you don't have a demonstrator here in Australia and you would like a copy of these catalogues, unfortunately, I can't show you inside the catalogues at the moment until they go live in January. But if you are interested in getting a copy of these, please send me a message. You can do that at michelle@dutrissa.com. Just had to think then. Or just tag me in this live and let me know. Message me on my Facebook page with your details and I can get these out to you. Hello, Robin. How are you today? Okay, so that's something that's pretty exciting. It's always great to have paper copies. So let me know if you're wanting those. Okay, so I'm going to be playing with something out of the mini catalogue, and that is let me just pull it out here. I've got a pile of stuff here as I normally would do, and that is the Trusty Tools stamp set. Now it is geared towards Father's Day. It's a male stamp set. It comes with stamps and dies to cut some of these bits and pieces out, and plus a few extra. But also, if you purchase this and the dies together as a bundle, this will be in the new mini catalogue. Okay, as I showed you before, the one that will be released in January. You purchase those, and then in the Sale-A-Bration catalogue, because for every $90 you spend or $180 you spend, you will get something to choose something for free. Let me move that out of the road. We won't be using that. So you get to choose an item for free in there. Okay, so the one product that they do have in that catalogue is the designer series paper that goes with this set, and that's this one here, and it has got rulers and nuts and bolts. Let me see if I can quickly pull out the tops of nuts and bolts. It's got this, which looks like the front of the drawers that men tend to keep their tools in. You've got another one with spanners. And then you've got these ones here in there as well, which is the ones I'm playing with today. So the dies that come in the bundle will cut out some of these bits and pieces. It doesn't cut out all of them. I know it cuts out the hammer, it cuts out the pencil, it cuts out the tape measure, and a few other bits and pieces as well. So what I'm doing today is a combination of a mail-based card using these products and a Christmas card. I know that sounds pretty silly, but you'll understand once I tell you my reasons. My husband, earlier this year, late last year, started up his own business, and he's now doing handyman work. So he's gained quite a few clients that he goes back to quite regularly. And we are getting them, some of the ones that he does see regularly, like a couple of the real estate agents and a few other people he has as regular clients. We are getting together a Christmas present for them, which is going to be a bottle of wine from our favourite winery. And what I thought I would do today is make up some tags to go on those bottles of wine. But I didn't just want a Christmas tag. I wanted to combine the two. So I've been having a little bit of a play, and I thought I'd share with you what I've come up with. So what I've got here is a piece of our cherry cobbler. Now, of course, you could use your real red, but I've gone for cherry cobbler. I think it is real red in the designer series paper, but I just thought, no, I've got lots of this color and I just wanted to use some of this up. So what I've done, I have cut this at, I've got all my measurements all underneath here, 7.5 centimeters by 21 centimeters. And then I've scored it at 15 centimeters from one end up, okay, which has left us with this piece here at the top. So I've pulled out the stylish shapes, and this circle here, let me grab my ruler and I'll give you the inner diameter. Now, I don't have one of the bottles of wine as yet to try them out because my husband only just ordered them this morning, but it's just under 4 centimeters in the inner diameter. The outer diameter is about 4.5. The inner is around about 3.7, and in inches, you're looking at the inner is 1.5 inches. So we're going to use this piece here to cut out a hole, and that's going to sit over the top of a bottle of wine. Now, hopefully I can find, I didn't think about doing this, going grabbing, seeing if there's any wine left on in our wine rack at the moment. Usually by the end of the year we're getting pretty low because I do usually just buy a whole stack as Christmas, or people have given them to us. So I'm just going to centralize that in that little area. Now I'm just going to measure that. The depth of that area at the top is 6 centimeters. So it was 21 centimeters in length. I've scored it at 6, which leaves a 15 centimeter piece, if that makes sense. So we'll score it at 15, which will leave you a 6 centimeter piece. Now, I have made this a bit wider than normal other measurements I've seen for one of these tags, but there is a little bit of a reason for that, and I will get to that. Okay, so we're going to pop that down there, and I'm going to run that through. Let me just move this out of the road. So that is going to give me the hole which is going to slip over the top of my wine bottle. Now, I do know that a couple of these bottles are quite wide, and that's why I've got a bigger one. You could, depending on your wine bottle, go a smaller circle. So check if you've already got your wine bottles, and mainly I've done this way because I don't have a wine bottle to check it with. But check, do a template one, and you could even use the beveled edge circles as well, because you've got a much more variety of sizes with those. And make a template and see what fits your bottle of wine before you cut this. I've cut this at this size because at the moment I don't know what size my bottle of wine is, and they all do vary a little bit. Okay, so let's move that out of the road. So that's our base. I'll put those there. Now, this is one of the designer series papers out of that suite, or that pack of designer series paper, and which has got all your rulers. So you've got your centimeters and your inches on there. And I'm going to use this as my base. Now, you could flag the bottom of this, but I'm not flagging it. I want to keep it fairly square because this is a masculine type card, and I know it's going to be going to some females, but it's from a man, so it's from my husband. So I just wanted to keep the feel of the whole thing as masculine as I possibly could, but with that Christmas theme to it. Don't want to go over masculine, but I just wanted to keep that because it is him that's going to be giving these as gifts. So we're just going to pop that on there, give that a really good rub to make sure that's all adhered and that there's no glue oozing out. Okay. So the other stamp set that I'm going to be teaming this up with is the Merriest trees. Now, remember, this is in our current mini catalogue that we've got at the moment, which is on I suppose, a closing out list. So some of these stamp sets and bundles have been reduced in price because this particular mini catalogue does finish at the end of December, so very early January. So if you're wanting this, go on there, grab it now, because they all will be going fairly quickly. But I'm going to be using the sentiment out of this. I'm using the large tree and coordinating dies. So let's just do some more die cutting. And first off, let's stamp our tree. So we'll pop that piece to one side, and I've got some more die cutting and everything to do as well with our tools. But let's die cut our tree. So I've got the largest tree here. Well, it's the only stamp is that one, but you've got dies in different sizes to cut this down smaller. But I'm wanting to stamp this in the big one, and that's why I've made my tag slightly wider to cope with the width of this tree. Now I'm using Granny Apple Green here in my ink. It is a photopolymer ink, so I do need my foam mat to go underneath what I am stamping. Now normally I'd put a piece of scratch paper on top of that, but I haven't today. I'm going to take my ink pad to my stamp because it is a large stamp. Make sure that I'll get very good coverage over the whole lot, because I want that tree to come out really nice. Okay, so we're going to stamp this down the bottom here and stamp that out. Now I think my piece of basic white cardstock here is approximately 3 inches in width, because it just fits through my mini. Oh, look at that, missed one spot. Okay, if things like that happen, no problem. I'm just going to turn it over, and we're going to try stamping that again, and just make sure I push down a little bit firmer in that one spot. Okay, let's give this a second go. Pop that down on there. Give that a nice firm push. The reason why we have a foam mat underneath this is because with the photopolymer stamps, you don't have any foam to give you that cushioning to get a really good image stamped. So by having that, it just helps that little bit better. And look at that, perfect. Okay, let me just clean my stamp off. So Robin, how are you today? How's the weather where you are? We've got a beautiful day outside, and it's a shame to be inside, but that's the way it goes. We've had rain here for the last few days. Okay, so I've cleaned that down. Excuse me. Don't need that mat any longer, so let me pop that over there. And we're going to die cut that. Got a little bit of a splodge there, but that's okay because some of this is going to get covered up. So what we have in our dies. Now, I've already die cut a few little bits and pieces. Let me just close that up before I put my hands right into it. Now, when you're cutting these out, I just cut roughly around them, and then I die cut the pieces I want. Now, there's not dies for every bit, like this particular ruler there. That doesn't have a die, so if I'm wanting to use that, I do need to fussy cut that. You've got different coloured pencils, so I've die cut that pencil there in the yellow, but then I thought, oh, there's a green pencil. There is also a red pencil. Now we have a die to cut the pencil, so I'm going to cut out that green one so I can use that. I've got my tape measure already done. I found a hammer. Now pieces like this, where you've got part of a wrench, that was the edge of my paper. Let me just bring that up there so you can see it. Don't throw these away. You could tuck that in underneath your tree, which is what I'm going to be doing with some other pieces. So, you know, you could still use bits and pieces like that. You know, again, with this piece here, you could cut that and tuck the ends in underneath something else if need be. So let's just die cut now this other pencil and our tree. We may need to cut some more pieces, but we'll see how we go because I've already cut those. So let me pop them out of the road. Hello, Vicky. Oh, yeah, you're at last on to see me. How are you, darling? It's really good to see you on here. Okay, so I'm just going to let me bring this in a little bit further so you can see. I keep forgetting and having things far down too low, and I probably have got my camera a little bit too close as well because I think I moved it the other week and I haven't adjusted it back. So I'm going to pop that into there. Pop that piece on top and let's run this through. Yes, it's going to take. So there's our Christmas tree. Need that piece for my sentiment. I also want to cut this pencil out. So I'll pop that one underneath there. Put that die on. Now you are better with these longer dies to have them going up the length of the cutting mat, because otherwise you can distort or not cut properly if you have it going across. So just tapping that back in there. Bring that down, making sure nothing is moving. Let's run that one through. So there's our pencil. And I also got a couple other bits and pieces here. So I've got some glimmer paper. Now this is the one with the adhesive on the back of it, because I want to put a little bit of glimmer on our tree. So I'm just going to pop that in there. Now this is one of the dies that comes with that Christmas tree. So it's going to give us a little bit of decoration to go on our tree. Whoops, it's pulled some of it off, so some of it's still in there. I'll just leave that there for the moment because it's got an adhesive back on it. And the other piece I've got here is a bit of the pecan pie. Now, let me just cut this down a little bit smaller because I just want a base for my tree. Again, this is another die from the dies with the Christmas tree in it. Put that over there out of the road, and I've got this die here. I've cut a piece, still too big, but that's okay. And this one here will give us also a little bit of texture on that tree base. So we've got a little bit of, don't know whether you can see that. Where is my, there we go. You can see a little bit of texture there, which comes on that die. So it's a little bit like a basket weave. Put that die there. Now, the only thing I would need left to do is let's stamp our sentiment. So the sentiment I've also got from the Merriest trees, and I'm using hoping your home is filled with the spirit of the season. And I thought that was pretty good, since this is going to people that Joe has been doing work for. And I've got a scrap of basic white here. And I thought I would use the cherry cobbler to stamp my sentiment. Just tapping that quite lightly. You don't need to tap it too heavily. And we're going to stamp that just along the bottom there. Now, I'm not sure yet whether I'm going to fussy cut that or whether I'm going to trim it and flag it. We'll have a look once we get to that. Let me just clean off this stamp. Now, I'm probably going to be over the next few days making about half a dozen of these. Joe doesn't know yet that I'm doing this, so it'll be a nice surprise for him. Okay. So here's our wine bottle tag at the moment. So Vicky, you didn't see the beginning of it. I'm teaming the Trusty Tools Designer Series paper and stamp set and dies with the Merriest trees to make a wine bottle tag for my husband's clients. So with this one here, we're going to need some of these pieces that are in here. Whoops. So I'm just going to adhere these on here, and going zigzagging across. Now this one here is going to be the bottom one. So this one's going to go that way, that way, that way, that way, and then that one's going to come across the bottom, something like that. Still got, there's the second one that's still in the die. There's the next one, which we're going to have going across like that. I don't know if I should get this set as I have nailed it, but seems to have better stamps and dies. Oh, okay. One of the other. Yeah, I never bought the other one, Vicky. So this one here is sort of don't usually buy many mail-based stamp sets. So I just want to move that a little bit. And whoops, I actually want that to go the other direction. No, I've got the one in the middle in the wrong way. That was the one I'll need to move into that direction. So it's zigzagging down my tree. So it's going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's better. Give that a really good push down. Yeah, I don't usually buy many stamp sets that are mail orientated. It was just a thing that I thought of the other day. I just don't do a lot. And my son this Christmas has asked for some Christmas cards as well. So I've sort of figured I'm going to have to start buying some more mail-based stamp sets. So with this one being on the pre-order, if you attended the on stage as a demonstrator, then I thought I would get it and start it with this. So okay, so let's pop this down. So I'm going to glue that directly on here, but I want to work out where that's going to go. So that's going to go. Now you could put this up onto dimensionals if you wanted to. Sorry about that. My brain just went dead. Actually, which I think I might do, because I want to do yes, no, yes, no. No, I'm going to glue it straight down, but I want it about there. So maybe next year you'll see me not doing so many florally type things as doing things more for boys. So we'll try to find a compromise in going half-half. Now, just looking for some large dimensionals. Now, I've got some somewhere here. And here we go. Just get rid of that while it's there. Put that into there. Okay, so I'm going to pop this tree up on dimensionals. Now, I'm not going to stick it down yet because I want to work out where I'm going to pop all the tools for coming out from underneath it. Now, I know that I'm going to probably put another dimensional on that side there. So that is going to sit there like that. And then we've got some of these tools here which can fit in. So I might pop a dimensional underneath there, but then glue that down so it's got a little bit of height. Now it's which pencil do I use? I could use both of them, and I've got the tape measure. I think I might just stick that down because I haven't popped anything on this side, but I think there's enough there that it will be well supported, and it's just flipping around too much for me. Yeah, good. Yeah, girls ride motorbikes and have tools as well. That is very true. But I tend to go for the florals. So let's pop that there. That one I want to have coming up. Maybe not as tall as a tree, but I do want a bit more of the handle coming out. So let's pop a little bit of glue there and just that can come up a bit higher than the tree. And I'll just take the back off that. Now we've got to work out too where our sentiment is going to go. Now I did think we could even put, this is one of the ones we need to do a bit of fussy cutting with. Sort of being a little bit aware that this is yellow and I've done a yellow background as well. So don't want it to get lost in there, but I do want it to look like it is filled up a little bit. Just going to just trim that down just a fraction more. Now, I don't necessarily want it, I could cut that in half because he is popping out underneath there. We don't want him coming out underneath the tree. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut the bottom of that off. And see, I've got my tree popping out on this side, so I don't mind if a few things are popping out on the other side. I like that there. So let's pop, whoops. A little bit of glue in there. Now I am thinking of having, let's have a look at this sentiment. So I am thinking of having that somewhere down the bottom here. Could even have even thinking of having that going there like that a little bit. Might even just fussy cut this. So has everyone finished their Christmas shopping? I certainly haven't. I'm sort of come to a little bit of a standstill about what to get my boys. That could look quite good coming out of there as well. Don't necessarily want anything on this side. I'm not going to stick all of that down. I'm just putting a bit of glue on the bottom part. That can fit in there. Okay, let's just move that for a second. Let's bring this piece in. And I've got my trusty little trimmer here. Now what I tend to like to do is let me move that out of the road. You've got a plastic strip here to hold your cardstock down. So when you use one of these trimmers, you take it up right, your cardstock that you're cutting, you take it right up to the top, especially if you've got a straight side. Yeah, boys are always hard to buy for, especially if you've got like a 45-degree angle here and that's completely straight. Then what I do is I use different parts of my trimmer as guides. So it could be the edge of the metal piece underneath where that's part of the cutting part. It could be where the metal and the plastic join here. I could be lining these pieces up along there because all these lines here should be straight. It could be that I'm lining up the curve of this plastic piece with the bottom of my font, and that just gives me a guideline. It could be just working out, okay, how much it's overlapping up the top and how much it's overlapping at the bottom, because once you get to something that's smaller, like if you have a look here, I'll pop this down again, I'll use my pencil, this comes across and then it steps up. So if you're doing something, cutting something that's narrow, that's smaller than or fits inside that step up, you can't always necessarily get a really straight edge. So I tend to like to use guides or markers because I've just popped that into there and I've still got a lot of play to bring it, it could move, it could not cut straight on me. So I just like to use different elements of my piece, which it could mean that I'm just eyeing it up, the distance between a line and the edge of my paper. It could be the, as I said, the edge of the plastic to the bottom of my font, my stamp image, and that just gives me a guide. And then I can, if I do get it a bit crooked, I can trim it down a little bit. But I've managed to get that quite straight, so I'm quite happy with that. Now I'll see if I can find easily, which if you saw where my punches are, I can't always access them easily. So let me just have, oh yes, I got it. Gave myself a bit of a stitch. So this one here, it's a little bit narrower than those, so it's not going to work on my punch anyway. So let's just trim this down a bit further, and then I'll have to hand flag this. So let's just trim that down to about there, because I don't want to flag it by much. And I want this, roughly the same amount on the other side, and I'm just going to eyeball this. It's going to be about there. Okay, easiest way to work out your flag is work out the width of your sentiment, which is here is 1.5 centimeters, and I'm just going to put a little dot about halfway along. So I've gone about 75 mil, and I'm going about 5 mil in, and I'm going to do that on either side. I'm using my grid paper as my guide. And then I'm going to use my snips just to cut from the edge, the corner, into that dot that I've drawn there. And if you draw it quite softly with a soft pencil, that's easy to rub out with a good rubber. So using a nice white rubber, which is fairly clean, you can just remove that little dot. Okay. So my sentiment, I think, is going to go in that area across there, and it's going to come out probably about there. And I might, if I sit that up on, okay, that could go over the top of the pencil too, actually, which might be better, because I'm thinking I might sit this up on dimensionals, but I'm not going to put the last dimensional at the very end. So if I put one at the end here, one in the middle, and then the next one's not going to be quite at the end, because I do want to be able to have that sticking to the tree, not off the tree. And if I pop, that's going to go about there. This is just going to guide us where we're going to put that. I might just bring that up a little bit more. Just about there, I think. Okay, so it's going to go there. Now, I'm just wondering whether I might pop my pencil in underneath or over the top. I think I like it over the top. So what I might do is I might pop a little bit of glue here in the middle of my pencil. You could use a glue dot for this too. I might just pop a little bit of glue on there, because what I want to do is adhere my tape and my glue together, because my tape is going to sit while it's still fairly wet. I'm just going to angle that. Because it's going to go there, and I'm going to pop a couple of dimensionals on the back of that. And that will also hold that pencil down. Okay. Now I've got that last dimensional actually on the tree, and I probably, well, it's going to have to stay there now. That's okay. That will still work. And you might want to cut just a little bit to go underneath. So I'm just cutting a little bit of the corner off there. Peeling the backing off that. I'm just going to use, so what I've just got a little bit of dimensional here, which I've just cut up. And I've just got it stuck to the tip of my take a pick tool, and I'm just going to slip that underneath there, just so then that piece of the tape measure has got support. Okay, so one down, probably another 5 or 6 to go. So hopefully they will like that and enjoy a nice Christmas with their bottles of wine that they're getting as gifts. But just a fun way to incorporate tools, because that's going to represent my husband and his business, and then the Christmas tree, and wishing his clients a happy Christmas. So of course you could change the colors up on that whichever way you want to suit the tools and that you use. And you could even, because the stamp set has a lot of these pieces already in it, you could stamp your pencil in whatever color you want, and even your tape measure if you wanted to change up your colors to suit what you're doing. But I hope you've enjoyed that. So that's my little fun project for today. I hope you can join me again on Monday. On Tuesday evening, and we'll make something else. And I better get going and making a few more of these. So have a lovely day. Thank you very much for joining me. If you do want to have a look at any of these products or projects that I've made, you can find them hopefully in the next few days on Butterflies and Bows. And this particular stamp set here will become available come January. And the other stamp set that we've used, which is the Merriest trees, is available now. Getting quick before it goes, because this is on our list that is deleted. I don't think this is a carryover. I'd have to double check that. Okay, if you want a copy of the catalogues, let me know by either leaving me a message here on this live, or going over to my Facebook page and leaving me a message there, and I will get some out to you in the post once I have them. So have a lovely day. Take care. It's carrying over. Oh, great. But no, it's not carrying over as a bundle. That's right. So I knew that. But so this one is carrying over. But if you want it as a bundle, because when you do purchase things as a bundle, you get your 10% off discount. So this will be carrying over, but not as a bundle. So if you want that 10% discount, grab it now. Okay, take care. Have a lovely day. Bye for now.